Hello Gunners, welcome to yet another video, and today is quite an exciting one. We've got a bit of breaking news from David Ornstein regarding a potential Arsenal target for January, and of course we've got other things to talk about as per usual. But before I do begin, if you are new here, please do hit the subscribe, hit the like. It is always hugely appreciated. But yeah, let us just start with the main news, the main point you probably clicked on this video for, and it is Antoine Semenyo. David Ornstein has come out to say that Bournemouth have no power, basically, because Antoine Semenyo has a 65 million release clause in his contract. I've been saying this for weeks, and there wasn't just any real sort of clarification, any real credibility behind what I was saying. But now we've got one of the best journalists in the game coming out to say Antoine Semenyo has a 65 million release clause for January, and in fact next summer that 65 million will drop even more. And it always made me wonder, why did Antoine Semenyo actually sign a contract with Bournemouth? And I feel as though now we know the answer to that in the summer, because I'm sure there would have been a lot of teams interested in him. Arsenal have had long-standing interest in him. But, you know, it is always nice to see that a player of Semenyo's ability and quality is accessible for just £65 million. And you can see the sort of fees that other players have been going for. Elanga for 55. Noni Madueke, I think, has been really good for us in those minutes, but he was 52 million. There is certain fees for certain players where you're looking at now, Semenyo is a bargain. He's an absolute bargain. I think Arsenal definitely have to be in the race. And I know this for sure. I've checked with a lot of people. There's also sources out there that have said Semenyo wants to come to Arsenal. Semenyo's first priority is Arsenal Football Club before anybody else. He's an Arsenal fan first. Yes, he understands if Arsenal don't put a bid in for him, he will make his decision to go elsewhere. But his utmost priority is Arsenal. And if I was Arsenal right now, I am doing everything to get into Antoine Semenyo's mind. I am whispering into his ear and telling him, Antoine, yes, our squad is very bloated, but if you wait until the summer, just wait 6 more months, you will be an Arsenal player. Because I don't think we should sign Semenyo in January because our squad is too bloated, guys. Let's not get too greedy. Let's allow Trossard to play out this season. He deserves it. Same with Martinelli. Then in the summer, you make your decision between Trossard and Martinelli on who to sell. It would be obvious that Trossard should be the one you sell from a business point of view, from a long-term point of view, and from a short-term point of view as well. And the profile of Semenyo would be able to replace the quality of Leandro Trossard. So for me, in the future, you've got to be looking to next summer and being like, ooh, Semenyo for Trossard is a phenomenal deal. And of course, that means Gabriel Jesus must leave the club. And I feel like that will be the case next summer. But I feel as though January would come too soon. And it's disappointing because Liverpool are there, City are there. You know, all of those clubs are there like vultures around Antoine Semenyo, ready to strike a deal. But I know for a fact his first priority is Arsenal Football Club. He is an Arsenal fan and he loves the club. You know, he does love this club. So if we're able to go to him and say, we will sign you, Antoine, in the summer, he would probably wait, stay in the South Coast, similar to what we did with Martin Zubimendi, but instead we did a whole year in advance. We told him, Martin, you stay in the Basque region for one more year. We will come and sign you next summer. And I feel as though the best DOF in Andrea Berta is at the club to be able to do that. I feel as though it would be very sad if we didn't sign Semenyo. A bit similar to Eze, it would be very sad because obviously Semenyo is a player who can certainly impact Arsenal positively. I've said it multiple times on my social media platforms. Semenyo is a player who allows Arsenal to play the game they want to play. For example, I've said it many times before, from goalkeeper situations, a long ball into the sort of forward areas to bypass a press hasn't been on without sort of Kai Havertz in the side, because Gyökeres is an aerial jeweler, Saka isn't an aerial jeweler. We haven't got the ability to go long and just thump it into our centre forward and play off of those flickers. Sometimes it can be as easy as that. But with Semenyo, he's got one of the best aerial duel success rates in the Premier League. So you can imagine David Raya can play the ball out wide to Semenyo, onto his body, into his sort of head, into his feet, whatever the sort of ball that David Raya wants to play, Semenyo can deal with it. So it means, okay, if Havertz isn't able to play, or we choose Gyökeres for the game, We can have someone like Antoine Semenyo receiving off the left-hand side in an aerial situation to bypass a very aggressive press. And that is absolutely pivotal. And I just think about Arsenal. I feel as though Semenyo, high shot volume, similar to Madueke, somebody who can go on the outside and the inside on a 1v1 situation. And I know a lot of Arsenal fans love Kenan Yildiz. Yes, Kenan Yildiz is a very, very good player. But for me, if you're asking me, if you're looking at Premier League proven, if you're looking at what I've just said, Antoine Semenyo has to be the guy. And simply, sometimes you've got to be a bully. We've seen it with Liverpool. We've seen it with sort of Manchester United in the years gone by, with Manchester City as well. Sometimes you just got to sign a player to prevent your rivals getting him. Because by signing Semenyo, it stops a very good player going to one of your rivals. And knowing he's an Arsenal fan, knowing his quality, he would start for us for certain. But just stopping your rivals from getting his signature is just as important. Cannot reiterate how important it is to not allow Antoine Semenyo to go to Liverpool, Manchester City, or Tottenham Hotspur. Yes, I feel like Tottenham Hotspur are in that race for him. But like I've said, he's an Arsenal fan, and if Arsenal is serious, he'll want to come. Sometimes you've got to flex your muscles, flex that Arsenal heritage, flex that Arsenal love that players have. Antoine Semenyo makes us scary. Imagine a front three of Semenyo, Gyökeres or Havertz, then Saka, then Eze in the 10 or Odegaard in the 10. It would be incredible. So many options for Mikel Arteta. But yeah, like I've said, Trossard, Martinelli, see the season out. They deserve it. They've had really, really good seasons so far, and I feel like it would be unfair to ship them. But I've said this in many videos before. Ruthless Berta. He has to be making those ruthless decisions that fans like us won't emotionally be able to make. Be ruthless. If you think now's the chance to go and get yourself an Antoine Semenyo in January, and Trossard, Martinelli, Jesus, 2 of those 3 have to go, it may have to be the case, and that is just how things are. And I just want to end this video actually talking about an announcement which was made that Michael Oliver is going to be the referee for the North London derby after his huge errors for Arsenal last season against Manchester City at the Etihad, against Wolves where he sent off Miles Lewis-Skelly. He's going to be back. You know, there's no point. Why? And you just know when City are in a title race with us, they just want to bring Michael Oliver back to make more mistakes. There is no reason he should have a game of such huge ramifications, not just in terms of bragging rights, but in the context of the Premier League season. It just doesn't make sense. But it is what it is. Arsenal have to make a way or play a game which doesn't make refereeing decisions impactful on the outcome of the game. That is what my plan for Arsenal is. Go against Tottenham, run them off the pitch, win your duels, win those sort of individual battles as well. Score the goals necessary. But my word, let me know your thoughts on Michael Oliver being the referee for the game against Tottenham, and of course Antoine Semenyo to Arsenal.